I want to hand you these condoms.
He's a crusader in the fight against AIDS.
We have a lot of black men who are not using condoms who are, in fact, becoming HIV positive.
His weapons are simple: a free condom and a little candid conversation.
Putting the condom on with your mouth, on somebody with their mouth, that makes it very attractive.
Ron Turner works for the Minority Task Force on AIDS. His charge is the black male community, where he spreads his message of safe sex to hard-to-reach populations.
You want some condoms, man?
Prospect Park is a secret pickup spot for men who don't consider themselves gay. Strangers will often meet here and have sex in the bushes.
I know for a fact that there are men who have wives who come to this park. There's some shame, there's a lot of denial. It's closeted behavior.
Despite the secrecy, with a little charm and give and take, Ron has gained some trust.
Stay negative. Right. And one of the ways that you do that is utilizing condoms.
AIDS is the leading killer of young black men in this country. In New York City alone, over 26,000 black men have contracted the disease. Ron devotes his time to whittling away at those numbers in an effort to make up for his past mistakes.
Being uneducated or undereducated, I did a lot of things in terms of my survival. Had a house of prostitution, sold drugs. And so this is my way of giving back to that community that I've taken so much from.
Ron grew up on the streets of Detroit over 50 years ago when racial discrimination was the rule rather than the exception. Shortly after graduating from high school, Ron applied for a job at a local newspaper.
I sounded adequate for the position on the telephone, but when they saw me and that was a whole different story.
It was episodes like this one and an instinctive passion for the black community that led Ron to the Black Panther Party. Forget about the paramilitary gun-toting icons. Serving free breakfast to school kids warmed this Panther's heart.
It was eggs, whole wheat bread, juice, cold cereal, and we'd provide that for those youngsters so that when they got into a classroom setting, they would be able to concentrate on curriculum rather than empty stomachs. So it was quite rewarding.
Ron's special attention to people's needs has carried over in his fight against AIDS.
I don't think black people are weak. I think that we don't get the kind of resources directed into our communities as our white counterparts do.
The Minority Task Force on AIDS receives funding primarily from the New York Health Department. But like other minority AIDS services, the budgets are small and much lower than mainstream agencies. And as the only outreach worker on staff, Ron often leaves the office late, only to go out and hit the streets again.
Good night, ladies.
Good night. Late night down in the village, Ron solicits attention from a group with different needs.
What did John ask you not to use a condom?
Transgender prostitutes.
One thing I've noticed is that Ron, he's very sensitive to our community. Unlike a lot of different agencies and service providers, he's aware of who we are, how we identify, and he addresses us as such.
Lee White also works in AIDS services. Over the years, Ron has advised her in this work, where he insists acceptance is the key.
These condoms, darling, you're really pretty,
There are a number of things that someone who's doing outreach in the transgender areas should remember, and that's one, they should remember that the people that they're talking to are females, and they should be addressed as she and her. If the trick or John wants them to penetrate them, that it's the girl who, she will do this, and she will in turn need to use a condom herself.
For the crusader with a big heart, hope endures, one man at a time.
I think what I do makes a difference. I think that, and I have to continue to keep that kind of mindset so that I do make a difference.
In Prospect Park, this is Dion Scott.